And with us right now on the line, Eddie Van Halen. All right. Eddie, man, what's new?
I just went out and bought myself a cane because I've been using crutches, man. My hip's all f***ed up.
From what?
I have a vascular necrosis, same thing that Bo Jackson had.
Oh, really?
I need a hip replacement, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
A cane. Are you going to have it on stage?
The cane?
Can you imagine that? Here comes Eddie out on stage with this cane.
Well, I'm hobbling, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I you know, it's just from years of jumping on stage and drinking, you know, and not feeling the damage I was doing. I'm almost 7 months sober now, so the pain is just getting worse and worse.
I want to ask you about that, 7 months sober.
Yeah.
That's about the same time you got your hair cut.
Oh, yeah, I did it all at the same time.
So was that Jim Kelly thing a lot of crap? Or?
Oh, yeah, that was just a joke. Put it this way, I had two answers, a long one and a short one. And the long one, I said in Rolling Stone. The short one was just to get the press off my ass. And he just said, it was a bet, you know.
Yeah. So how you feeling?
Outside of that, I'm playing great. I feel incredible, you know. And I'm back, man. I'm alive.
So, like, what do you say about those 10 years when you were drinking on stage and all that stuff?
Oh, it was more than 10. It was more like 20.
All right, so 20 years. I mean,
well, you know, I mean, I still played well, but I think, you know, it's all kind of foggy, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Well, what made you change your ways, Edward Van Halen?
Well, it all started with the death of our manager,
Ed Leffler. Ed Leffler was a great guy.
Yeah, and he really was. He was actually more of a friend and a father figure to all of us than he was a manager. But it started with his death in October, and then you know, we were all pretty much in shock. You know, we tend to gravitate to, you know, whenever you're in shock or you're mourning, you know, you tend to kind of gravitate towards something you know, which is, for us, making music. And so Alex and I kind of locked ourselves in the studio and started writing for the new record. And, you know, subconsciously, I think some of the tunes ended up with a darker kind of vibe to them because of Ed's death. But I don't know, I kind of hit a real emotional bottom, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I noticed that there's a little bit more spirituality to this record.
Yeah,
I noticed that there's some Buddhist chanting on there, on the Seventh Seal, and some other stuff. And is that all part of what you were going through?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it wasn't conscious, but it was definitely the mood we were all in.
Right.
And for me personally, you know, I just hit a real bottom. You know, I was waking up every morning with the true alcoholic shakes and the dry heaves and everything, and that was happening for a few years, actually. I would have to drink a six-pack of beer just to feel normal, to stop the shakes, you know.
Wow.
And my body just couldn't handle it anymore, so I shaved my head because I was so frustrated and pissed off at myself that I was literally pulling the hair out of my head. So I grabbed my Norelco shaver and did a butcher job myself.
What, in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Like, what did Valerie say when you came out of the bathroom?
Well, she freaked, obviously, but of course the result of that is great for both of us.
Right.
Because that was the beginning of a new me.
Now, you mentioned your brother. You guys are probably the closest guys in just reading about your history that have ever been in a band.
Well, I mean, how was come to America without not knowing the language and being there for each other made us real close.
Right. Now, how did he feel about this 20 years? Now, was he going through the same problem you had?
He's like 8 years sober.
Okay.
And see, the thing is, you know, I went to a couple of rehabs and this and that, and I'm not knocking rehab at all. It works for a lot of people, but for me and for my brothers also, it has to come from within. You know, you can't have people telling you, hey, it's not good for you, you got to quit, it's killing you, it's ruining your life. Hey, I knew all that, but I wasn't finished drinking yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Alex happened to be finished 8 years before me.
So was he getting on you for 8 years to stop?
No. See, that's just it. He wasn't like that at all.
Huh.
He was not your typical AA kind of guy that would hound you and say, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just said, hey, Ed, you will find yourself. And I definitely did about 7 months ago.
All right, what I want to do is play a song here. What was Ed Leffler's favorite Van Halen song? What did he really like?
Oh, how about When It's Love for him, man?
Okay, well, let's play that right now on Q104.3. We're back with Eddie Van Halen on New York's Pure Rock, Q104.3. It's Mark Razz. And, Eddie, what happened with the gun in Burbank?
Oh, man, that was a stupid thing. Oh, God. I was...
No, let's set this up. You got the gun in your bag. You usually fly on a charter plane.
Exactly.
You go through the metal detector.
So here we are. We have our first commercial flight, and I totally spaced, you know. And I don't condone people carrying guns, but at the same time, I got a family to protect. And I had, the week before we left the tour, I had this guy living in a van outside my house.
Oh, man.
And the cops would chase him away, and the kid would come back. I didn't know if he was just the world's biggest fan or some freak, you know what I mean? So I carry a gun, and it was a stupid thing for me to do. I wasn't trying to sneak it on the plane, you know what I mean?
So how did now the beeper goes off, security comes over. What did they say to you?
Actually, as I put my bag on the conveyor belt, I tried to pull it. I tried to reach for it and pull it back, because right as I put my bag on the thing, I remembered, and I wanted to grab it so I could take it out and send it home. But they said, nope, it's too late. You can't touch your bag. So it had to go through the X-ray, and I said, well, there's a gun in there. So they didn't find it. I told them.
Oh.
And anyway,
so they take you in some back room and strip search you or anything like that?
No, they were quite nice, because I told them about it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like I was trying to sneak it on.
Right.
But I already went to court for it, and
so how much you end up paying?
$1,000 fine and a year's probation.
You can get $50 back if you take it to the gun program in L.A.
Well, they took my gun and destroyed it.
Oh man.
Which is kind of a bummer, but what the hell, you know? It was a foolish thing to do.
Yeah. Wow, that must have really ruined your day, man.
Yeah.
How long were you detained in after that?
Oh, about an hour and a half, something like that.
That's not too bad.
You know, they did a complete. It was really funny that it's like one of the cops who was walking me to the holding tank, kind of like Barney Fife, you know, a real young guy with one bullet in his gun, you know, and he's like, you know what I'm saying? And then thank God Andy Griffith showed up later on, an older, more experienced officer who said, hey, you know, we just did a complete check on him. He's clean. Quit harassing the kid, will you?
Hey, so what's going?
The less publicity, the better.
Yeah. Well, you definitely did get some publicity, because we saw it right on the news wire that afternoon.
Yeah.
So tell me some more. How's Wolfie doing? You got him playing guitar yet?
He's running around the hotel room right now with a pair of Alice's drumsticks, driving me nuts. But he's having a lot of fun.
I read one time where Valerie wanted him to be one of the top 4 guitar players in the world.
Well, that would be nice.
You got him playing at all?
Oh, not yet. You know, he strums on it a little bit, you know. But
well, when did you start?
He's a typical. I didn't start till I was 12.
Oh, okay.
I started playing piano when I was 6. But, you know, he's a typical kid. He loves the Power Rangers and the Ninja Turtles and, you know, all his Nintendo games.
Yeah.
He has a very normal life.
That's good. So let's talk about the show. Sammy ready to go? I know he was tired there for a while.
Well, yeah, it's been kind of a bumpy first month, I guess. You know, I guess the time of year that we started the tour, it was cold actually in Florida. Then we went to the south, to like Texas, Albuquerque, places like that, New Mexico, and it was really dry weather, and his throat just took a beating, you know. So we had to cancel a couple, 3 shows by the time we got to California, which we'll be making up in the end of May. But he's 100% now. He's strong. We're all playing great. And especially because I'm sober, man, I am like playing so much better than I ever have. It's just incredible. I'm freaking myself out. You know?
I was just reading in the New York Star Ledger. I don't know if you saw the article this morning. Jay Lustig wrote it. He was saying that you would be on stage for a few years there going, man, I had a great show. Then you listen back to the tape and you were like,
Exactly.
Don't.
Yeah, and now it's the complete other way around. I'm on stage, and when I'm done playing, I feel like I could have done better, but then I listen to the tape and I go, wow, I played really good. So it's nice to be awake.
I'm glad you can laugh about this now.
Oh, man, I'm just glad I survived, you know what I mean?
All right, it's New York's Pure Rock, Q104.3. It's Razz, Eddie Van Halen with us. And let's play something off the new album, Balance.
Play, Don't Tell Me.
All right, just Don't Tell Me. New York's Pure Rock, Q104.3. We're back on Q104.3, New York's Pure Rock. Eddie Van Halen on the telephone tonight. They are at the Meadowlands, tomorrow night, Nassau Coliseum. And the show kicking up for the Balance Tour. And just a few things that I want to mention to you. Now what?
Hey, I want to bring up something.
Sure.
The USA Harvest, the food drive.
Yes, please. I was going to get to that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
Hey, you could do my radio show if you want.
There you go.
No, go ahead. Let's talk about that.
Well, it's like USA Harvest. It's a great thing. It's our. I want to ask all our fans to bring a can of food to the gig tonight. And by the time we're on stage playing, people at homeless shelters are eating. And it's the most wonderful thing because there's no bureaucracy, there's no money involved, there's no government involved, there's nothing except people helping people. And it's just the best thing possible. And the 2 months that we've been on tour now already, we've raised more food, or our fans have, brought more food than we did the whole entire tour of 1993.
That's amazing.
So we just want to thank our fans, because without them, obviously, it wouldn't be possible.
So it's canned food, boxed food.
Yes.
And they're going to have collection.
Anything that's non-perishable.
Okay, so there's collection areas around the Meadowlands tonight and Nassau Coliseum tomorrow.
Yes, and it's all volunteers. So it's people helping people is the way it should be. I think old Mr. Clinton should learn something from that. Well, sorry about that. But,
no, that's okay.
I guarantee you if the government was involved, they'd probably tax us on the food we're raising.
Nah, they'd find some way to screw it up.
You know what I mean?
No kidding. Wow. Now, how did that get started? How did you guys get involved in that?
A guy named Stan Curtis, who was the head of USA Harvest, who is also a volunteer. You know, it's all volunteers. There's no money involved at all. He approached us back in 1993 at the beginning of our tour, and we said, wow, this is a great thing. And it's starting to catch on. Other bands are doing it, and it's working. You know, hungry people are eating.
That's amazing.
That's what it's all about.
You guys are doing great stuff.
Trying to help, you know?
I want to ask you one more question, then I want to let you go. I was reading somewhere where you bumped into old David Lee on the street in New York.
Yeah.
How did that, what was going on there?
It was funny. I guess Valerie was here doing some press, and we happened to be out walking and shopping, and without really thinking about it, we walked right past him, and Valerie went, "Hey, Dave." And he turned around and kept walking. And I said, "Whoa, that was Roth." So I turned around and kind of ran back a half a block, go, "Hey." You know, I shook his hand, and at the time, I guess he was working with Nile Rodgers on his last record.
Right.
And I just wished him well, and that was it. And he just looked at me like in shock and didn't say a word.
Well, what about the stories about him, like, calling your office and your management, and you guys never calling him back?
I have no idea. I mean, I've had the same phone number since 1980.
Right.
And
he knows it.
I've gotten no messages from him, so I don't know. Besides that, hey, it's a divorce, you know? Who wants to get remarried?
No kidding. I mean, especially to your first. Yeah, I understand that.
Sammy's been in the band longer than he was.
Yeah.
So for anyone to think that he's coming back, it's just ridiculous.
Well, there was a time there where I thought he was.
Well, I think he might still think he is, but
well,
I don't know what kind of planet he's living on.
Eddie, it's been real fun talking to you. Good luck tonight, and I hope things go well with your sobriety. And I'm glad to see you're alive and well.
I'm done with it.
Good. All right, take it easy.
Thank you, Mark.
Good to talk to you.
Okay, bye-bye.
It's New York's Pure Rock, Q104.3.